A lot more Lana in a sec. Here's Heyman's tweets. The first, of course, the major part of Correa's physical is complete. The ankle, of course, so he's going to go back to Minnesota. The Mets willing to guarantee 6 years, $157.5 million. But the final 6 conditionally guaranteed. Correa makes $42.5 million more with the Twins, so he gets a $200 million. And that's all I care about. I'm not interested in vested options, how many at-bats he needs for a 7th guaranteed year. That stuff is very overrated. Very overrated. It's guaranteed money. That's what you're looking for. And he got $200 million guaranteed from Minnesota. He was offered around 157.5 to be exact from the Mets. So he got $42 million to go to Minnesota for the next 6 years. So that, that's roughly, about $6 extra million a year. It's $7 million extra a year. Now, listen, that's easy to sneeze at, but he's made a fortune anyway. And again, my argument simply is this. If you want to win, and the Giants were going to win in a 12-year period. The Giants are going to win again. They won 3 championships. This is a good franchise. 2 years ago, they won 107 games. I mean, the Giants are going to win again sometime in the next 12 years. Or they're going to have a solid chance to win. You never can predict it entirely, but they're going to be in postseason play in the next decade, which is the length of the contract. The Mets, obviously, are going to probably have a chance to win every single year. Minnesota's not. Minnesota is not. I mean, I just looked at the Minnesota lineup. I'm waiting for Johnny. We'll get Heyman on in a minute. I mean, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Kenta Maeda, Bailey Ober with Nick Gordon, Christian Vasquez, Joey Gallo, and Jose Morano. That's not a championship-level team. Let's be fair. Here's John. He has all the details, and he says hello. Mr. Heyman, it's nice to have you with us here. Obviously, the Mets got very careful with those back end of the 6 years. So Carlos back to Minnesota for about $42 million total more. Let me get your take on the whole scenario here in the last 24 hours. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Mets wanted to mitigate the risk. They felt there was a risk. I know it's very difficult to gauge, to pinpoint exactly when that risk will come into play. Carlos had the injury in 2014, hasn't received any treatment, nor has he been on the injured list for that injury since 2014 when he was in the minors, but 2 doctors did flag it, and certainly the Mets were cautious about it. They wanted to mitigate the risk, and over the first 6 years, which are the guaranteed years, the Twins did offer $42.5 million more. The Mets were being careful. They also, my understanding is the Mets also wanted to give Carlos a physical every year of the contract as well.
Well, the Giants also negated this, too. So that's 2 franchises, to be fair, that had issues with his physical. Thoughts with that? Go ahead. Let me hear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fair. Of course, after the first one, maybe the second one's going to look at it closely and not take chances. But, I mean, it's pretty clear the Mets are a team that's in it to win it. And they're already got a record payroll of over $350 million, even without Carlos Correa. So their emphasis is on winning. So they must have felt that there was some risk that they felt they needed to mitigate. And the idea was to split the difference, to give him 6 fully guaranteed years, which is what he ends up getting with the Twins, plus the 4 vesting years, 6 guaranteed years with the Mets, and then 6, maybe you call them conditional guaranteed years additionally. But it's all in the details. It's all about the language. How many games would he have to play? Would he have to be in the field? Does it just plate appearances? What's considered injured? What's considered healthy? And they went over this for more than 2 weeks, as we know, and there's a lot of twists and turns, and certainly both sides wanted to make this happen, and they just could not bridge the difference.
Well, John, here's the thing that I'd ask, and I understand $40 million. It's easy for me to sniff at it. $40 million is $40 million. I get it. It's guaranteed. We got that over 6 years. That's $6.5 million more a year. But he's never winning with Minnesota. They're not winning a championship. I'm sorry, they're not.
Never's a long time, Chris. Never's a long time. Not this year. I would agree. I think their team is solid this year. I think they're certainly much improved with Carlos. But, they would certainly not be among the favorites to win the championships in 2023. I would agree with you. Never's a long time.
But again, Minnesota hasn't done anything as far as championship baseball since 1991. That's 31 years. And, with the Yankees and with Houston and then the Braves and, the Dodgers and the Mets. I mean, to win a championship in Minnesota, small market Minnesota, that is not that easy. So my question to you is, the Mets have a chance every year. So why would you just give up the $40 million to give yourself a chance to win a title on a year-in, year-out basis? Why wouldn't you do that? He's made a
Well, I would say
obviously
a lot has changed with the Mets, but if we're going to cite the Twins' last title, the Mets haven't won a title since 1986, so it's even longer for the Mets. But I understand they have Steve Cohen now, who's got the top payroll. They did win 101 games. Certainly the opportunity to win is greater there. But, I mean, we've been through the free agency forever, and it's very rare where somebody leaves $40 million on the table. I know Trey Turner did it. I think Judge probably did it. In this case, he had been offered $315 million guaranteed, and they've cut it in half in terms of the guarantee. And I do think he did want to go to New York. I do believe that, even though I think he liked Minnesota very much. I think it worked out nicely for him. He loves the ballpark. He still plays shortstop. So there were sacrifices going to New York. He's going to a harder ballpark, going to third base. I do think he wanted to be there. We saw on the Instagram story his young toddler son Kylo with the I Heart New York T-shirt. I think he was all in for New York, but then to have the guarantee cut in half, and then also I think the Mets were being careful, and I understand everybody can read an MRI differently. You've got different lawyers. They were being careful, and they said that they'd like to give him a physical every year as well. So, he probably wanted to avoid that kind of a situation too. And he did like Minnesota. There are good things about the Twins. I agree with you that the Mets have a greater chance to win a championship. But, if everybody went to the team with the best chance to win the championship, the Astros and the Dodgers rosters would be completely full. There'd be no other teams, and probably the Yankees.
But again, they've lost 18 straight postseason games in a row, Minnesota. 18 in a row they've lost in the postseason. The Mets
they didn't have him for those games. Right. He is one of the better postseason performers. Yeah, I've heard what you said about him.
I agree.
He is one of the best postseason. 18. I know it doesn't rank with Mickey Mantle's 18 World Series homers, as you and I go back to that, but 18 career postseason homers, pretty darn good. His stats are pretty comparable to what they are in the regular season, even better from a power standpoint, kind of like Jeter.
He can't get to the World Series by himself. That's the point, or the postseason. I agree with you. I love him in the World Series. Great, 100%, John. But he's not getting there with that one thing, the franchise itself. And how are they going to spin a press conference when he falls back in Minnesota's lap when it was obviously his third choice? How are they going to spin that next week? Let me hear.
Well, I mean, the first choice was to go for the $350 million deal. I don't think anybody would blame him for that. And then he certainly loved the idea of going to New York for $315 million. Obviously, the equation kept changing as the medicals were looked at, and it's just an MRI. I mean, he obviously is fully functional. There's never been any issue with him on the field, but this MRI did change the equation and kept changing the offers downward. And, you got to make a decision. And he made 3 decisions. And the first 2 were, in a sense, pulled away from him. I'm not blaming the team. They have doctors. They have lawyers. They didn't do the deal that they'd agreed to. And nothing wrong with that, because once you do the physical, you can certainly change the deal. And that's what happened. So this is the 3rd deal. And he decided to take this one. And I don't think it's surprising that someone would take $42 million more guaranteed than less.
Maybe. Good job, John.
Not me, anyway. I'm not surprised. Maybe you are.
Yeah. I want to win. My idea is to win. I want to win. I'm not winning with the Twins. I'm not winning with the Twins on a regular basis. Good job, John. We will talk to you soon. Always a pleasure.